I thought I was doing everything right. That's what makes this hard to say now. I'm 73. My name is Robert, and I spent 51 years married to a woman I never really knew. Not because I didn't care, because I thought caring looked different than it did. I grew up watching my father go to work before sunrise and come home after dark. He didn't talk much, didn't need to. He provided. That was love. That was what men did. You worked hard. You kept the lights on. You made sure your family had what they needed. I never questioned it. When I met Linda, I was 24. She was 22. She worked at the library downtown, and I'd go in sometimes just to see her reshelf books. She had this way of tilting her head when she listened to people, like what you were saying actually mattered. We got married 6 months later. I remember thinking I'd won something, not in a proud way, just in a grateful way, like I'd been given something I didn't quite deserve, so I'd better not mess it up. And I didn't mess it up, not in the ways people think of. I never cheated, never drank too much, never raised my voice. I worked 50-hour weeks at the plant, sometimes more. I made sure the mortgage was paid, made sure the car ran, made sure there was food on the table and a roof that didn't leak. I thought that was enough. I thought that was love. Linda stopped asking me questions sometime in our 30s. I didn't notice when. It wasn't sudden. It was just that one day, I realized we mostly talked about groceries and whether the furnace needed looking at. I didn't think much of it then. That's just what marriage becomes, I figured. You settle in, you get comfortable. The excitement fades. But that's normal. That's life. She'd ask me how work was, and I'd say fine. She'd tell me about her day, and I'd nod. I wasn't ignoring her. I was tired. I was thinking about the invoice I forgot to send or the shift I had to cover next week. I was present, I thought, but I wasn't. She started spending more time with her sister. I didn't mind. Gave me time to catch up on things around the house, fix the deck, organize the garage, stuff that needed doing. I'd see her on the phone sometimes, laughing in a way I hadn't heard in a while. I figured that was good. She had her people, I had mine. We didn't need to be in each other's pockets all the time. That's what I told myself. Our kids grew up. 2 boys, good kids. I made sure they had what they needed too. College funds, reliable cars. I taught them how to change a tire, how to balance a checkbook, how to show up on time. I didn't teach them how to talk to the people they loved. I didn't know how. Linda and I became roommates somewhere along the way. Polite ones. We didn't fight. We didn't really disagree about anything. We just existed in the same house, moving around each other like furniture. I thought that was fine. I thought that was what happened when you'd been together that long. It wasn't until she got sick that I started to see it. She was 70. Breast cancer. They caught it early, they said. Good prognosis. But she'd need surgery, then treatment. Months of it. I took time off work, drove her to appointments, sat in waiting rooms, made sure she had her medications on time. I did everything I was supposed to do. But one night, after a long day at the hospital, she looked at me and said, "You don't have to stay." I didn't understand. "What do you mean?" I said. "Of course I'm staying." She just looked at me, not angry, not sad, just tired. "You've always stayed, Robert," she said, "but I don't know if you've ever really been here." I didn't know what to say. She didn't say it meanly. She said it like a fact, like something she'd known for a long time and was finally saying out loud because she didn't have the energy to keep it in anymore. I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell her all the things I'd done, all the years I'd worked, all the times I'd fixed things and handled things and made sure everything ran smoothly. But I didn't, because somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew she was right. I'd been there, in body, in responsibility, in making sure the bills got paid and the house stayed standing. But I'd never asked her what she was afraid of, what she dreamed about, what she needed that wasn't a working furnace or a balanced checkbook. I'd never told her I was afraid either. I'd spent 50 years thinking that keeping everything running was the same as keeping us together. It wasn't. She recovered. The cancer went into remission, but something had shifted. Or maybe it had always been shifted, and I was just finally noticing. We still lived together, still had dinner at the same table, still watched the news before bed, but I could feel the distance now. And the worst part was, I didn't know how to close it. I tried, in my own way. I'd ask her more questions. How was her day? How was her book? Did she want to go for a drive? But it felt awkward, like I was learning a language I should have been fluent in decades ago. She was kind about it. She always answered. But there was a guardedness there that hadn't been before. Or maybe it had always been there, and I'd just never noticed. I think she'd spent so many years trying to reach me that she'd finally stopped, and I couldn't blame her. I started thinking about all the moments I'd missed. Not big ones, small ones. The time she mentioned she'd always wanted to see the ocean, and I said we'd go someday, and we never did. The time she cut her hair short, and I didn't notice for 3 days. The time she told me she was thinking about going back to school, and I said, "What for?" And she never brought it up again. None of those moments felt important at the time. But they were. Because they were the moments she was trying to let me in, and I didn't even realize the door was open. I thought love was about what I did, but love is also about what you notice, what you ask, what you make space for. And I didn't make space. She passed away last year. Heart attack. Sudden. No warning. I was in the garage when it happened, fixing a shelf that didn't need fixing. By the time I found her, it was too late. The funeral was small. Our sons were there. Her sister. A few friends from church. People said kind things. They said we had a good marriage, that we'd been together a long time, that I'd taken good care of her. And I had, in the ways I knew how. But I don't know if I ever really loved her the way she needed. I don't know if she felt loved. I sit in this house now and it's too quiet. I see her things everywhere. Her book stacked on the side table. Her reading glasses. The coffee mug she used every morning with the faded flowers on it. There's a sweater draped over the back of the chair she used to sit in. I haven't moved it. I don't know why. Maybe because moving it would mean accepting that she's not coming back to wear it. I walk through rooms we shared for 51 years, and I feel like a stranger. The bed is too big now. I sleep on my side, the same side I always slept on, and her side stays empty, cold. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and forget she's gone, just for a second. I turn over expecting to see her there, and then I remember, and I have to remember it all over again, every morning. I keep thinking about the last thing she said to me. It was the morning she died. I was getting ready to go to the hardware store, some screws I needed for that shelf. She was sitting at the kitchen table with her tea. I said, "I'll be back in an hour," and she said, "Okay." That was it. Okay. Not "I love you," not "be careful," just okay. And I didn't say anything else either. I just left. I think about that a lot. How we had 51 years and the last thing we said to each other was about a trip to the hardware store. I don't know what I expected. Some final moment, some last chance to say everything I never said. But that's not how it works. You don't get a warning. You don't get to know which conversation is the last one. You just wake up one day and realize you're out of time. Her sister came by a few months ago to pick up some of Linda's things, photos, jewelry, stuff she wanted to keep. We sat at the kitchen table, the same one Linda sat at that last morning, and her sister said something I haven't been able to stop thinking about. She said, "Linda used to tell me she felt invisible." I didn't say anything. "Not in a dramatic way," her sister said. "She just felt like you didn't see her anymore, like she could have been anyone." I wanted to tell her that wasn't true, but I didn't, because maybe it was. I saw Linda every day, but I didn't see her. I saw the person who made dinner and folded laundry and kept the house running, but I didn't see the woman who stayed up late reading because she couldn't sleep, the woman who used to hum while she cooked, the woman who cried during commercials, but never in front of me. I didn't see her. I just assumed she was fine because she didn't say she wasn't. But she did say it, in small ways, in questions I didn't answer, in silences I didn't notice. She said it when she stopped trying. I thought I was doing everything right because nothing was falling apart. But something was falling apart. It was just so slow I didn't see it happening. I'm 73 now. I wake up alone. I eat breakfast alone. I go to bed alone. And I have all the time in the world to think about the woman I lived with for 51 years and never really knew. I don't know what her favorite memory of us was. I don't know what she wanted her life to look like when she imagined it as a girl. I don't know if she was happy. I don't know. And I can't ask her now. That's what I carry. Not the big regrets. Not the mistakes you can point to. Just the absence of all the small things I never thought to do. The questions I never asked. The moments I didn't notice. The version of love I thought was enough, but wasn't. People tell me I did my best. Maybe I did, but my best wasn't what she needed. And now, she's gone, and I'm still here, sitting in a house that's too quiet, with a sweater I can't move and a side of the bed that stays cold. I don't know how much time I have left. Not much, probably, but it doesn't matter anymore, because the person I should have given that time to is already gone.